So this movie is 30 years old, and I just watched it for the first time this week. Don't judge. Akira is written and directed by Katsuhiro Otomo and stars Mitsuo Iwata and Nozomu Sasaki. Akira takes place in a futuristic post-war Tokyo, Japan, and tells the story of a biker gang who gets mixed up in some crazy government experiments. So, you've seen the title by now. I'm talking about Akira, the 1988 anime classic. I just never got around to watching this one. I vaguely heard about it. I've seen references to it, but I just never got around to watching it myself. You can find it now on Hulu, which is where I watched it, and wow. Even though I'm 30 years late, I'm also watching it at the perfect time because they're talking about a lot of relevant topics and they make some very close predictions of the future, which is really crazy, for the 80s at least. And so let's just get right into it. So what worked? First and foremost, the animation in this movie is amazing. It's hand-drawn. Almost 90% of this movie is hand-drawn. I believe there's only one computer-generated image, and that shows the amount of detail, the amount of life that these characters and the scenery has is out of this world, and I feel like computer animation nowadays just doesn't capture it the same. Along with the animation, there's some really great fight scenes and action in this movie. It's very brutal, very intense at times, and gory, but the action is just so well done, and it keeps you glued to your seat the whole time, especially the bike races, and then the final fight scene at the end was really crazy, really good. This also did a great job of depicting violence in the context of this dystopian society. They used violence to show how messed up this place was, from police brutality to teachers assaulting the students. This place was very, very messed up, and you really understood that because you saw what these kids had to go through. Because the characters in this movie, you kind of forget, are teenagers. These are not young adults. These are not people in their 40s. These are teenagers dealing with the stuff that happens in this movie. So the violence and the action really helped complement that stuff. And while we're talking about themes, this was very relevant to today. Even though this was made in the 80s, they're talking about things that are still going on today. Police brutality, government corruption. These are things that I think make this movie really stand the test of time. You watch it and you say, that reminds me of this. That makes me think of this current situation in world events. By the way, it's actually scary how close they were at predicting two world events in this movie. World War III, which they said happens in 2019, and not that it's happened now, but it's very much a possibility, and they were only a year off. Also, the Olympics happening in Tokyo, also very crazy. Let me just cut in right here. I realize now, looking at the screenshot, it says 31 years after World War III, but I do think it's still crazy that they were talking about a post-war world in 2019, that we were seeing the results of a potential war, which they're talking about now. So yes, I know it's not exactly happening in 2019, but it was still crazy to see that association happen with it. All right, back to the video. Another thing I really enjoyed about this movie was the storytelling and character development. One story thread that I thought was done really well was the mystery of Akira. Who or what is Akira? The whole time I was trying to figure it out. I was watching the screen like, did I miss something? Is there a character I didn't see introduced? And you see people keep mentioning this Akira. You see that there's people worshiping Akira like a god, but you're trying to figure out what is Akira. And I thought the conclusion to that storyline was done really well. There's also the development of Kaneda and Tetsuo. Tetsuo starts off as the person that's always needing to be saved. You see he's kind of looked down upon by other members of the group, especially Kaneda. Towards the end, you see how he reacts to gaining power, being stronger, not needing to be saved, and how that kind of drives him mad. It reminded me of Dane DeHaan's character in Chronicle, and it really clicked for me how influential Akira really was. And then there's Kaneda, who starts off as the cocky hotshot turned hero. By the end of the movie, you see Kaneda taking responsibility for this monster that he helped create in a way. You see him admit, I have to be the one to take this guy down. This is my responsibility. And you see him grow. You see him stepping up to protect these people, even the ones he's just met, like Kei. And I thought that was really well done. The verdict. I think Akira is solid. This movie really set the stage for present-day anime with beautiful hand-drawn animation, really great character development, really great action, and they touched on a lot of topics and themes that are still relevant to today. Now I'm kind of bummed that Taika Waititi's not working on the live-action version of this movie, because now that I've seen the original, I definitely think this is something he could have handled. So what did you think of Akira when you first watched it? Let me know down in the comments. Also, don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.